$10,000 bond. Well, Sarah Nelson Torciello took a plea deal. She was still convicted. Oh, there it goes. Restarting again. Now it says live 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, unfortunately, I had 30 seconds worth of an intro to this video that is apparently needing to be redone. Whatever. So let's take a look at the messages between myself and Claire Jordan. All right, so 11:44 a.m. I typed I was harassed again by women repeatedly last night. Actually, let's just
Well, I had an appointment this morning. My computer has literally been doing this for, God, I don't even know how long. Wanted to do an update first thing this morning. Meanwhile, my phone didn't even want to start working until about 20 minutes ago. I'm going to try to send this video and see if hopefully works.
thank goodness it finally did. And then there's another one right here.
Well, I've been here since about 10:30. It was 12:20. So 2 goddamn hours of this. Don't know what the fuck it's doing now, but it's nothing goddamn useful.
Yeah, and if that's not graciousness, Bessie L. Here's Claire this morning with her stuff. Updates are underway. Please keep your computer on. We'll try it again. Her computer wants to update too. So she's been stuck on a screen like that for hours, just like I was. Meanwhile, I've got to call this field office for my paperwork about disability so that I can have it for court. It's 2:22 p.m.
Thank you for calling the Warrington Social Security Office. For service in English, press 1. Para servicio en español, oprima el 2. To ensure that you receive accurate and courteous service, your call may be monitored or recorded. Please listen to all options carefully. Our menu has recently changed. To dial your party's extension, press or say 1. To dial by name, press or say 2. To hear field office hours and directions, press or say 3. To hear these options again, press or say 9.
Operator.
We did not recognize your selection. To dial your party's extension, press or say 1. To dial by name, press or say 2. To hear field office hours and directions, press or say 3. To hear these options again, press or say 9. We did not recognize your selection. To dial your party's extension, press or say 1. To dial by name, press or say 2. To hear field office hours and directions, press or say 3. To hear these options again, press or say 9.
Disability Determination Services. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it now. Please note this call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance. The Social Security Act allows us to collect the information you provide, which we would use to help in deciding your claim. Providing this information is voluntary, but not providing such may prevent a timely and accurate decision on your claim. As law permits, we may disclose your information for routine uses in our electronic disability claim folder system of records notice, all available at www.ssa.gov/privacy. You may locate a full Privacy Act statement on SSA forms received in the mail, which is also available at www.ssa.gov/forms. To continue to hear this message in English, please press 1. Para español, oprima número 2. Thank you for calling Disability Determination Services. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it now. Please note this call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance. The Social Security Act allows us to collect the information you provide, which we would use to help in deciding your claim. Providing this information is voluntary, but not providing such may prevent a timely and accurate decision on your claim. As law permits, we may disclose your information for routine uses in our electronic disability claim folder system of records notice, all available at www.ssa.gov/privacy. You may locate a full Privacy Act statement on SSA forms received in the mail, which is also available at www.ssa.gov/forms. To continue to hear this message in English, please press 1. Para español, oprima número 2. Thank you for calling Disability Determination Services. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it now. Please note this call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance. The Social Security Act allows us to collect the information you provide, which we would use to help in deciding your claim. Providing this information is voluntary, but not providing.
Wait while I transfer your call.
Disability Determination Services, are you calling on your claim?
Actually, ma'am, I'm calling on a phone call from yesterday. The lady I spoke with gave me a number for a field office that I could call to get my disability determination information. I've literally been waiting on that for 7 years so that I could take it to court. I've been railroaded over and over again because the courts and my predators want to pretend that I'm not disabled. They want to pretend that I'm some sort of schizophrenic making things up, and I'm not. I'm autistic. There's a very big difference.
Okay. So do you believe that your claim is here with us?
Ma'am, it's not the claim. What I'm telling you is that I spoke with a lady yesterday with you who is helping me with the claim because I already have disability. I already get disability. On the 18th, I'm supposed to go in and see somebody about my disabilities again. The problem is that on the 15th, the people here in Tillamook are trying to railroad me in court and call me mentally ill to prevent me from being able to go and get my disability. If they try to lock me up for trying to tell on them, that's an obvious breach of contract, and breaking the law like that is obviously a felony. So
Okay.
the
Can I have your
number,
social security number?
yes, ma'am, it is
And your name?
Sean Schwartz.
All right. And Sean, can I please have you verify your date of birth?
October 18th, 1980.
To get your mailing address.
I don't have one anymore. I did have one, but nobody cared to help me when I had one. They allowed these people to harm me until all of my money was gone and I didn't have anything left but a broken body.
Did you recall what your old one was?
Yeah,
PO box?
I remember the one that I had in Chapel, Nebraska, and I also remember the one that I had to get here in Tillamook because I was literally forced to become an Oregon resident and spend literally thousands of dollars to do that, just to try to turn in abuse against me.
Okay. And what was the address here in Oregon?
P.O. Box 701, Tillamook, Oregon.
Okay, perfect. Because that's the one that we have on file still for you. Let's see here. And could I have the phone number we have on file for you as well? You recall?
The phone number that I have.
Do you have a different number that you might have?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, is that through all this abuse, that phone got broken.
Understandable, but I need to have that verified. You recall what that number is? Update that to the one that you're calling on today.
Man, there's supposed to be someone to help me with this stuff, and I don't have anyone to help me with this
I
stuff.
understand. I'm just trying to get you verified right now, and I'm trying to make sure that the information we have on file is correct. So the number that you just gave me, the 10443, that and replace it with the one you're calling on today.
I don't know. The other one, I have to get it fixed. It's got evidence
Oh,
of
you
the
will?
abuse that I've been trying to turn in on it.
Okay. So do we want to leave that number on here?
Yeah, we probably should. I also got to find a way to get the bill paid and get the phone fixed, and I can't do that because I'm disabled and living on disability money while being victimized everywhere I go.
Okay. How can I help you today? It does look like you did speak with Kimberly yesterday, who's your analyst.
Yes, ma'am. She gave me the number to a field office. There's nobody there. Like, all of this has been dragged out for literally 7 years. I haven't had any assistance in turning in my predators. None of the assistance that is supposed to be there for disabled people actually exists. The people that I've been sent to that are supposed to do their job to help me stop the abuse only take advantage of me for profit, and this needs to stop. Now, the field office that they gave me the number for so that I can get my paperwork showing what my disabilities actually are. Like, I called the number, they're not answering. It's another machine to send us around in circles. I have court on Monday.
Okay. I did see here that we have an appointment as well for you on the 18th.
Yes, ma'am. And that's the thing, is that on Monday, my predators in the courts are going to try to call me mentally ill and have me locked up to have me diagnosed with something, God knows what, because I tried telling on them. That's abuse of power. The stuff on your screen will show you that I am, in fact, disabled, that I do have Asperger's or autism, and that I do have PTSD. Now, for these people to repeatedly try to pretend that I'm schizophrenic because of that, it's not okay. For police officers that I'm trying to turn in to go running around and tell people that I'm schizophrenic is not okay. For them to tell people that I'm lying about being autistic is not okay. For them to lie to people and say that I don't have PTSD, I'm making it all up, is not okay. I've been trying to get my disability determination paperwork since I first got disability all the way back in 2017, and it has been nonstop being bullied everywhere that I go.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what you would like me to go ahead and help you out with. Besides having that phone number, I would just suggest keep calling it, because I know that Social Security office does tend to be busy at times, and it's just a waiting game trying to get through.
That's the key word there. It's a game, because this waiting game has been going on for 70, almost 8 years now. Actually,
I would suggest being able to just go ahead and get the appointment. Once you do, hopefully everything goes right with your court, and then you're able to go ahead and make the appointment. It does look like we do have a taxi that will be picking you up at the library. Would that be correct?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we just suggest taking that appointment. Hopefully you'll be able to do
Yes,
that.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am. Please stop. I'm overwhelmed. Okay, I heard you heard all of this yesterday, and you literally said the same thing 5 times in a row, and just reworded it a little bit different every time.
Okay,
You
but
only have to tell me once I'm not retarded.
I'm not sure how else to help you. What it is that you need help from me.
Well, that's the thing, is that if you allow me to speak, then it's pretty easy for me to be able to do that. It's not
Okay,
so
go
easy.
ahead.
Please don't get an attitude with me, okay? I'm overwhelmed. This is the last thing that a victim of violent crimes needs to be dealing with.
I'm not trying to get an attitude, but can you please let me know what it is that we can do to help you?
Yes, ma'am. There's a couple of things that I needed to verify. Will I be getting a ride back from Lincoln City?
Yes, it is. You will need to go ahead and make sure to have the phone number from the taxi cab. If you don't have that, I could give it to you today.
I don't have. Can you text it to me?
I'm not able to do that.
Man, this is. Let me see if I have a pen. This hope for the best stuff isn't help. It's not good advice. And it doesn't get the reality of the situation put down. All right, I'm ready for the phone number.
Okay. Let me see here. I'm trying to find that information. Why isn't it on here?
Y'all don't work with people who have disabilities, you work against them.
I'm sorry that you feel that way. I am not seeing anything here about transportation yet. I do see here that we are supposed to be getting that done, but for some reason it's not in here yet. I know you spoke with Kimberly about the situation, but usually when I pull up your appointment, I can see a taxi name and number, and for some reason I do not see that here.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm kind of concerned about what that means. So what I'm going to do is, real quick, I'm going to check if Kimberly's available. And if she's not, I'm going to be right back with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't see that she is available. So what I would like to do is I'd like to go ahead and send out an alert to her. I can go ahead and also, so that way if I send her an alert, you can also leave her a voicemail about the transportation. So that way we both, she'll be able to receive both of the alerts on voicemail and here in the system. So that way we can make sure to get the information from the taxi cab right away for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I would do is, because it's kind of hard to get a hold of you at this time, I would call next week by Tuesday if you...
It's not difficult to get a hold of me. It's not difficult at all to get a hold of me.
I'm sorry, but you just told me that the number that we have on file is broken?
Yeah, that phone is broken. But the phone that I'm
Okay,
using now, Kimberly has this number, and she did call me on this number.
Okay. So I will go ahead and also note this number, just in case, so that way we can have that as well. So I will go ahead and get you through to her, and then leave this message as well to you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for calling Disability Determination Services. This is Kim. I am unavailable to answer your call at this time. Please leave a message at the tone, including your name, claim number, telephone number, and the reason for your call. When I return your call, I may need to ask additional information to confirm your identity. If you need immediate assistance during business hours, please dial 0. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
I called the number you told me to call. It didn't do any good. They don't have anybody there to even answer. Also, the lady that I just spoke with made a bunch of bad assumptions. Thank goodness she did sort of let me speak to correct the situation. There's no need for that kind of rudeness. So I don't know the name of the lady. If I did, I'd tell you who it was. I did record it, so I've got the recording of it. Ma'am, I have court on Monday, and I'm going to get railroaded on Monday because I'm not able to get that paperwork. Anyway, this is Sean Schwartz. I guess give me a call back if you're able. Let's play something with Claire Jordan. It's only 27 minutes of it, though.
Hey Claire, it's Sean. Yes, ma'am. All right.
Before you touch it, and then I'm going upstairs to talk.
All right. So,
Yeah, it's like 2:45. Got nothing done. 7 goddamn years. Now this conversation with Claire, it only recorded 25 minutes of it. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know if it recorded or not. I don't know how far into the conversation those things were said. Where the hell are my goddamn keys? There they are. I actually want to break down this video with Claire because it's such a dismissive conversation. Every time I try to tell her the crimes that I'm trying to turn in, she wants to tell me a story about herself. No, shut the fuck up. When I'm telling you that somebody assaulted me, let me tell you that they were assaulting me and help me to turn that in. Don't make it about, oh, well, I was assaulted in 1998. I don't give a fuck. Are you being assaulted every day? No. But I am. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Hopefully one of these two recordings here. That's all that's on there, it looks like. It also looks like they're very long.
the thing is that I've got oral verification of being autistic and having PTSD. That's what I've got. The lady just called me this morning, and she was scheduling for the 18th. The problem is my public pretender is trying to have me railroaded as quote-unquote mentally ill, which is not a diagnosis, on the 15th. This is not the first time that I've gone through this, and that's the reason that I asked people for help as soon as possible, because it needs to be done before they try pulling something like this. Now, since I have medical appointment on the 15th, or on the 18th, but they want to railroad me on the 15th.
Mind you, that's what it is. When these people choose to be predatory towards me, I am not going to pretend that they're biscuits and gravy, peanut butter and jelly, some great and wonderful thing that fills your belly. This shit doesn't keep me fed. It robs me of the ability to feed myself. With Claire having issues and me having issues, turns out we're both having issues. I have to turn that one off because apparently the things that I'm trying to download aren't wanting to do so. Oh, it's an hour and 46 minutes long.
And one operator's not to hang up on me when I tell them that it's police officers who are abusing me. I'm well aware.
So it's only when you start
Aggressively. They antagonize the situation until you're overwhelmed and then accuse you of being aggressive. You tell them about the things you're required to tell them. That's right. These are the things you're supposed to tell them. When you are an at-risk adult and you are being victimized, you are supposed to tell them who your predators are, even if those predators are police officers. It is not okay for 911 operators to get antagonistic and bully victims, and that's exactly what they do here. What did I do? I'm not going to take this fucking victim blaming and victim shaming. I hung up on his dumb ass. Yeah, I had to call them back. Call them back because Neubauer wanted to be a bully. It's the end of one of these two videos where one is. You can actually hear him.
Well, thank goodness I got that recorded. Tell it's one has. He walked by. He has a two-tone, either gray or blue, rain parka on.
The end of the video here somewhere.
goodness I got that recorded. Tell it's one as you walk by. He has a two-tone, either gray or blue, rain parka on. I can even draw the design of it from the.
Alright, so it must be at the very end of the last one.
Oh. 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 Oh.
Yeah, let's go through hours of me having a panic attack in order to find the part where Wolnez went by being a fucking dickhead again. Yeah, just not fucking cool. Fucking A. I fucking hate this.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Are you okay?
No, ma'am, I'm not. I tried calling the field office there in Warrenton, which is where I had to go before, and ended up getting blown off and dismissed. Got bullied by the police. I've got the recordings of that too. They're gonna try railroading me on Monday.
On Monday?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the 15th. The thing is, none of these so-called government agencies are bothering with getting a hold of any of the people that they need to. They're demanding that I do these things when literally all they have to do is make a telephone call. Also, last night my phone died. I wasn't able to record all this stuff that I should have been able to, and my phone isn't going to be able to record much today either because my life is still at risk. I'm also, as you know, stuck all weekend without any help. Today is my only day to possibly get some help. Your computer getting screwed over the same way mine is. That's
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I'm still staring at the spinning wheel.
Yes, ma'am. I actually had to turn off my computer and turn it back on, even though it's against recommendations.
Yeah, that's what I had to do, and I actually have two of them, and they're both doing it. So I'm stuck. I can't even work today because it's just been the spinning wheel of death, as they call it.
Yep. Well, that's something that almost everybody that's promised to help me has had to deal with on the day they're going to help me. The other thing is, I speak up about it and say, hey, these are some pretty strange coincidences, first of all. And second of all, we did try and we have evidence that we tried. Oh, we can't look at your evidence. Only the evidence that the police collected. I'm trying to turn in the police officers that collected the evidence, and I've been trying to turn them in since before they collected the evidence, and they didn't collect any evidence.
Yeah. Mine has been saying updating 92% for about 5 hours now.
That's all stuff that on my end they treat it like I'm not making any effort, like I didn't try using my computer, like I magically have access to all this stuff, and also they still want to pretend you don't exist.
And the other computer that I have, I just took it 2 days ago to a computer shop and paid for it to be completely clean wiped and rebooted. And it's doing the same thing today.
Well, I've got 2 computers in storage right now. If they lock me up, they're going to take away my disability money because I'll miss my appointment on the 18th. If I miss my appointment on the 18th, then I don't get my disability money, and the rent on my storage facility won't get paid. they're probably likely to try to lock me up for at least 6 months because they really, 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 really want to call me schizophrenic. And it takes 6 months to make that diagnosis. And they keep screwing up by not doing that. Of course, they can't because the doctors are saying I'm not.
Even if they go ahead and diagnose you with schizophrenic, then you're qualified for disability. So what they're doing is they're putting you in a holding pattern where you don't get to have any help.
Yep, and it's also illegal, and literally everybody can recognize that it's illegal. It's just a matter of calling in, getting pissed, and saying, hey, this is not okay. With me having friends and family members that take advantage of me and now being stuck in Tillamook where I really don't know anybody except people who take advantage of me, what do I do?
Yeah, basically nobody that has not been through this is going to understand this.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's, what do they call that? Neglect. And both my situation and both
Confirmation bias. That's what it is. Confirmation bias.
well, in both my situation and your situation, their failure to do their legally required jobs resulted in people being harmed and or killed.
Yeah. Well, especially in our situations. You know, if people had listened to me in July of 2022, we'd have less of a problem than we have today. And they don't want to hear it because it's so bad. Well,
It's not happening to them, so it must not be real.
exactly. They can't possibly fathom that it can be that bad after what, 2 years? Almost 2 years, not quite, but almost 2 years. Almost 2 years of abuse and trauma that could have been avoided. But they didn't want to believe it when it was first reported. And they don't want to believe how bad it's gotten now. And, you know, I don't need them to believe it for it to be true. I don't need them to believe that their negligence has led to this for it to have happened. But it's unfortunate that they're unwilling to look at it. I'm the same with you. The same for you.
Well, I try explaining to people that the last minute thing doesn't work. I am thankful that you had somebody on your end speak up.
Yeah, it was my teenager.
She's a badass.
She's a badass. She's badass again. You know, like, but you know who should have spoken up is the police or the authorities or any kind of advocates. But you know who spoke up? My teenager.
With them threatening you here and threatening to blow your head off and crap like that, they should have dealt with that right then and there.
Yeah, and they didn't because I was a woman. I was a little woman that needed to go back to her husband. That's what they said. Take your little woman ass and go back to your husband and be a good little wife. That's what they told me. And 2 years later, here we are. And my teenager has finally spoken up. And now we have a 5-state manhunt for a sexual predator. And this could have been avoided 2 years ago.
Yep, just by these officers doing their jobs, or these mandated reporters you sent to doing their jobs.
Instead, like one of these offices in Tillamook gave my ex $3,800 for relocation assistance because he was able to spin a tale alive.
$3,800 for relocation assistance. Meanwhile, they literally abuse the living crap out of me for being stranded here and try to bully me into moving somewhere else with nothing.
Exactly. And they didn't even check custody paperwork. If they had checked custody paperwork, they would have never, ever, ever given him that assistance to move across state lines because the oldest one is not my ex's child.
That's federal. You probably know that.
So they don't check paperwork. They don't do their job. They don't, not at all.
Once you're homeless, they throw you away like you're garbage, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize until they're homeless. Right now, I'm having to deal with the library. The guy who runs the library here is telling his staff something different than he's telling me. His staff are telling me that that they have to go to him, and he's telling them. He's telling me that he doesn't go to the police the first time. That literally prevented me from bringing these things to him because they're not going to do anything to help me to turn it into the police.
Well, that's bullshit because the first time that I tried to go into that library, the one that you're in right now, like the Tillamook one, right?
Yep.
The first time I tried to go in and use their resources, they said I needed a utility bill to prove that I was a resident of Tillamook before I could use their resources.
Yeah, I had to get a what do you call that? The library card in order to do that. They're supposed to be open to the public.
They wouldn't give me a library card because I didn't have a utility bill from Tillamook.
Yep.
And so I wasn't allowed to use the Tillamook library for the first 4 months that I was out there.
All right, so here's the thing: if you were at work, no matter where you worked, if you were at work and you saw somebody beating on a child outside, would you call the cops?
Absolutely, yeah. You know what the cops in Tillamook would do? Tell me that I'm crazy.
Well, that's the thing is that these people at the library, every one of them, if they saw a child having that happen to them or a woman that was happening to in the Tillamook Sporting Goods or in the Tillamook Library parking lot, they would call the cops. Guaranteed, if any of these employees who work here had that happen to them, if they came inside and told the other employees that they were being harmed, they would absolutely have that help right away. But the help that I get is we can't do anything. We don't know what to do. Literally every single person here knows what to do.
Yeah, well, it's to the point, and I'm going to tell you this, and it's not going to feel nice. It's not going to feel nice, and I'm sorry, Sean. But they are beyond the discrimination between men and women. When some things were happening to me, just the same. Cool. All right. That's fine. Okay.
One of the
do your thing. Wash your body. It's okay. Do you know how? Okay, I'll turn it on. Hang on. That's okay. I'm sorry, Sean. Hang on a second.
That's right.
All day. So nothing I can do. Okay, I will, but promise not to curse at me. Okay. Sorry.
That's quite all right. Okay, so when I'm abused, I'm supposed to call a friend or family member right away. I'm supposed to let them know what the abuse is, and they're supposed to help me to turn it in. That's literally the only way that it works. And people, instead of following those guidelines, want to argue with me, or they want to say, oh, well, how about if I turn it in myself? That's never okay. And the reason for that is because they will lie to you, because they will tell witnesses, oh, well, you can't make a report for somebody else. Well, they're not making a report for somebody else. They're a witness to a crime, and they're trying to turn in the crime.
Yeah.
So then when I try to turn it in, they won't listen to a thing that I have to say. They just want the witnesses. So I try to get the witnesses to speak up. Well, everybody's too busy with their own lives. And that's an extreme amount of selfishness when it results in somebody being harmed as many times as I have.
Yeah.
Now, last night I was harassed by Wolnez twice. The night before that, people were throwing stuff through my windows. The night before that, people threw stuff through my windows.
Your windows. Through your windows?
Through my windows, yes. I'm missing 3 windows on my car now.
Oh, that's not good.
They put rocks through my windows, and I tried turning that in. That's where the guy, Massim Grijon, was going to help me. But the thing is that he's an alcoholic, and a violent alcoholic at that. He's also one of those people who wants to relive his glory days in prison while also bitching about prison and talking about how he follows the convict code and never call the police. And then every time a woman doesn't touch his penis when he's drunk, he calls the police and tries to have her evicted, whether she lives there or not.
Well, that's how Nathaniel Hunt was for me. So I get that. I refused to touch his penis in exchange for rent. And then I ended up being thrown on the street like a sack of garbage.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you're probably going to be busy all weekend, no doubt.
Well, keep going. Let me see what I can do for you, okay?
Well, I was going to see if, because with Wolnez doing this stuff, last night I didn't have the ability to record everything. I had to try to conserve my battery because I used up all of my battery yesterday making phone calls. It's also not charging up well, and all of my stuff's in storage. I know these are boring details, but they're important details because with my disabilities, I'm not able to make that travel every day. But the crimes that have been committed against me, the ones that I sent you evidence of already, I still need help turning those in. Those being, dragged out like they are is severely harming me.
Yeah.
As far as services nationwide goes, there's more services for women than there is for men by a lot. And the sexism.
Well, you think there is.
You're denied. You totally got denied here for a lot of services for the same reason that Lori got denied services.
A lot out there. I got denied like 100% out there.
Yep, and see, that's where the exception to the rule comes in. Homeless women. Homeless women are fucked same as we are. They're more likely to be heard, but not by much. As far as the services go, you might need just $100 for rent so that you don't end up homeless. But by the time you jump through every hoop that they want you to, it's 3 months down the road, you're already homeless. And now they're saying, oh, well, we can give you some assistance with your fuel bill. Well, I can't pay my fuel bill because I'm no longer in a place because you didn't do anything 3 months ago. And that's the thing about also with all these people who keep on saying they're going to help me, that like literally some of them, it was 6 years before I told them off and told them what useless pieces of shit they were and told them that they were horrible people for even pretending to be my friend, because I would never, ever in a million years look away to those things happening to them.
I had to just wait for a letter today because the amount of stuff that I have to take care of to help my children interrupted my work schedule to the point where I lost my job. And so now I'm back to doing design work. And now both my computers are on the little spinning wheel of fucking death. And I have my therapist telling me that I need to be on disability until I can help my children through this.
And she's actually going to help you do that, I hope.
I hope so, but it should have happened 2 years ago in Tillamook. And instead, 2 years ago in Tillamook, they left me on the street like a sack of garbage for dead.
I also remember the stuff with Helping Hands. And I remember, you're absolutely right about that place, by the way. I did record that stuff. But, with all of these agencies that I'm calling, the reason that they don't take it seriously is because it's called triage. They can triage you out if it's just you, especially if they can call you mentally ill. They listen for keywords.
You know what the main person over at Helping Hands did? She decided that since I wasn't willing to participate in Narcotics Anonymous, I was like, I'm not on narcotics, so why would I participate in that? And she was like, well, if you don't participate, then you don't get to be here at all. And I was like, well, I am on what's called outreach. And so when I sign in as a homeless person that is not part of your NA program, and that just needs a bed to sleep in, and I don't have to participate. And she got really fucking mad at me and told me that I would be banned, and that she would make sure that I was banned from the entire county because I wouldn't log in to her place at Helping Hands as a narcotics anonymous person. And I said, I've never done that.
Well, they were trying to do the same thing to me, and I was explaining to them, hey, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not on drugs. Okay? As far as the time that I have, I'm overwhelmed. There is important stuff that I need to get done, and I was told that this is the place I need to go for help. Now, the fact that none of these people...
I actually pushed my car across the property line, like pushed my car while it was dead across the property line, and then stopped my car.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to turn that in?
I would love to turn that in because she then, like, where I ended up pushing my car smelled like dead bodies. And I told her, like, I don't have to participate in your Narcotics Anonymous program because I'm not an addict. Like, I am a homeless person that was victimized. And now you want me to participate in this and enroll in Narcotics Anonymous? I am absolutely not going to do that because that's not my problem. My problem is that I was victimized. I was traumatized. I was fucking,
well, they want you to write that down because once you do that, once you write that down, they get to say that you have a history of drug use, and they get to use that against you forever.
Well, I didn't
so you were
have
smart.
A history of drug use. I didn't have a history of drug use. I got abused by a sexual predator, and then Nathaniel Hunt and Joshua Stolberg got in it together, and it called me crazy, but I was not there because of drug use. I was there because I had nowhere to live and needed a shower.
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's something that I'm aware of and you're aware of. But the thing is that with the police not listening and with me having to make those calls alone for the last 7 years, like people say that they will make the call, but then always something comes up. And I can believe that those things come up if people help me to turn it in, that those things come up. But at this point, Brin, is obviously never going to come forward. She.
I tried to reach out to Brin, and she didn't seem to be interested.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with me too, is that she was interested until she realized it actually meant doing something. She wanted to have a conversation about it. She said that she saw it and she'd help turn it in, and then she just never did. Um, so like a month later, she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna this or I'm not gonna that because you called me a POS." I'm like, "That's a POS thing to do." That's also the same thing that I said about the library here. If the library
That's the thing
staff
about the
are
library. You need a utility bill to have like a proper
well,
library.
let's time out. Let's time out on this. Can we not go off on the utility bill? Can we go off this once on me being assaulted here repeatedly?
Yes,
They should have
please.
called the police as soon as they were notified, as soon as they saw those videos and were aware that that did in fact happen on the library property. They should have taken it seriously instead of sending me around in circles. Dawn is the guy that I have to go to about that, and he's been made aware. He was made aware of the assaults 11 months ago, so they've been aware of it. The other thing is that they all go to the city managers meetings. That means the people who are in charge of the library, the people who are in charge of the Better Business Bureau, the people who are the heads of each of these agencies. They all come together once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on the month and part of the year. They all come together and they discuss
They all
things
come
like this.
together and they think that they know what's what, and they don't understand how it actually affects people at the very bottom, the people that are being abused, the actual people that are being abused.
Well, that's one of the things about people assaulting me and calling me a pedophile. And then when I call them a pedophile back, they don't like it. And then I get told, "Oh, well, you deserve it. You two wrongs don't make a right." Like, no, I'm not doing two wrongs here. What I'm doing is showing that that's not a nice thing to say, first of all. And second of all, I'm not assaulting these people when I say it. I'm only accusing either A, people who are pedophiles, or B, people who accused me without any proof.
Yeah, and you know, like for me, like I don't get accused of being a pedophile. I just get called like a Jezebel and left for dead, like a sack of garbage on the street.
Well, I hope you didn't get assaulted over 100 times here, but things do get bad.
I did actually daily, multiple times a day out there in Tillamook, and nobody even took two seconds to understand who I was, where I was from, what education I had, before they decided that because I didn't have a man, I must be a whore.
This church thing that they have going on here is really weird too. Like everybody seems to like want to push you to go to a church. If you go to a church, then they'll follow the law. If you go to it, or they infer that if you go to the church, they'll do the right thing. Like if you were a real Christian,
They infer, but as a woman, as a single woman, when I showed up at the church as a single woman, they said I was a whore, and I needed an exorcism, and that I was a demon. And I am not exaggerating. They literally called me a demon.
you're not a real demon. You're a demon spawn. Those insensitive asswipes. No.
And they refused to feed me because they said that I was a demon. And so I had to wait for a Sunday to walk into their church and make a cup of coffee in their church and sit down and listen to their sermon without bursting into flames. That even began to trust me.
Well, I have no money to live on for the rest of the month. None of the stuff that they want me to do, I'm not able to do any of it without the money. The other thing is, it's not the money that's the important part, it's people's words. It's people looking at the evidence and then making calls with me. And that's the part that all of these, like, for example, the police say that they're not going to listen to what I have to say. They're only going to listen to the witnesses. But they're also telling the witnesses that they can't make a report for me. Like, that's not what the witnesses are doing. And I'm not asking the witnesses, literally every single one of the witnesses that I've gone to, and people who claim to be friends or family that have said they'll help me to turn it in together. At the end of the day, they all want to turn it in by themselves, and then they don't have any evidence, and they sometimes claim that they do, but they never show it. They want me to
I
just
don't
believe.
want to turn it in by myself. I want you to call with me. And I have time for that now because dealing with the trauma from my ex, from my pedophile child molester fucking demon. In this 20 years of history, I have time now. And, so you call and I'll be on the call with you. And these things are true. They are true. They are true, and I don't want to call by myself. I want you to call with me. And I want to tell these people that these things are true.
Yes, ma'am. I have to go to the bathroom, and they're probably going to kick me out of the library or out of the room here because it's 3:33, and I was only supposed to have the room from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Okay. All right. You can call me.
Right after I go to the bathroom, I'll let you know what's going on, because the thing is, the last 3 days in a row, those youngins from Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot and Andrew Wolnez, the guy who I sent you the videos of that keeps on harming me, the police are still pretending those videos don't exist.
Yeah, well, the Sporting Goods parking lot, yeah. Do you know how many fucking, 20-something kids, videotaped me and laughed at me for having seizures in that parking lot?
The other thing is, when I say kids, people think I'm talking about 5-year-olds. No, these are 16 to 30-year-olds.
These are teens and 20s. These are teens and 20s that are in on it, and they think it's funny, and they think it's funny to fuck with people. In that county especially. Out here, where I'm at now, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. But out in Tillamook, you have the high schoolers following you around, videotaping and laughing at you.
And throwing stuff at you. And for me,
and you screaming, I'm having a seizure, call an ambulance, and they still just laugh and hope that it's viral video.
Yeah, you must be possessed by the devil if you're having a seizure type BS.
Yes, exactly that. They said that exact thing to me. You must be possessed by a demon and need an exorcism if this is happening to you. And I was like, you are recording somebody having a TIA, a mini stroke, after being poisoned almost to death, and you think it's funny.
And nobody gets that either. The drugs are so prevalent and easy to get. People will literally put drugs in your stuff to take advantage of you, to try to get laid, to try to put you in the mood.
They'll put it in your soda. They'll put it in your weed. They'll put it in your cigarettes. Whatever they can do. And when you say, I want drug tested because I think someone drugged me, they laugh and then take a video of you having a seizure.
The thing with them, you can obviously tell that something's not right there. And it's obvious, that they need to find out what the problem is instead of just assuming. And that's where all these different places that I'm dealing with, they assume homelessness means on drugs and mentally ill. And obviously mentally ill is not a diagnosis. I do have...
And they assume that if you're homeless, you need to be in Narcotics Anonymous, and you're like, I
and
never
therapy.
Was on any kind of drugs. I'm autistic, and you are making fun of and then forcing me to...
Yeah, basically. But and that if you don't sign that piece of paper, they don't get the money that they want. That's why they're mandated reporters.
When you sign in at home, and if you sign in as outreach, sign into their little breakfast log, and Narcotics Anonymous, and so that they get 7 days of reimbursement for quote unquote helping you. Well, they are not helping you at all.
Well, you looked up the stuff about the money that they were getting. When I said that, I wasn't lying, was I?
No, you weren't. You weren't lying at all. They are double dipping to get people to get set up with like food stamps, and then they force them to sign in as NA, and then they get 7 days a week of food assistance, and then they force the people to also use their own cash, like SNAP, food stamps, to buy groceries and put them in the kitchen over helping hands. And so they're double dipping. And then one girl, Kayla, she said that something smelled off on her milk, and because somebody had tainted it, put something in it, and so she poured it down the sink, and they yelled at her for a quart of milk, and she was like, I bought this with my food stamps. Why do you care? And they got really mad at her. And she refused to eat anything in that place.
Well, they bullied the hell out of me the whole time I was there. One of the guys that's there, he's got a flyer that he's got in the window of the liquor store here in town. A picture of him and his daughter talking about how he's trying to make his life better, but he was literally down here, several times since I met the guy, trying to get drugs from the people here on the streets. Like, hey, if you're trying to clean up your life and take care of your daughter, do that.
You can't even walk outside and have a cigarette at 2 a.m. because you wake up from nightmares without them being like, you need to get back inside. But then you see the staff walking around the backside of the building and smoking meth.
Yep. Or the lady who runs the Narcotics Anonymous meeting coming down here, literally the day that I got kicked out, the lady who ran the Narcotics Anonymous meeting came down to the library parking lot and was trying to get some fentanyl from the people here. Like, really?
She was trying to get fentanyl? I'm not surprised, because that's what they tried to drug me with.
Yeah.
And what I said, like, I've had enough, I know your game. And my car was dead, and I had to literally push it across the property line. She said, I will ban you from the entire bay. And I was like, go ahead and try. And she didn't succeed, but the lady that runs the Narcotics Anonymous was trying to drug people inside Helping Hands. And the girl Kayla, she could smell it in her food that she bought with her food stamps. And then they got her to sign in a way that got them extra food stamps to buy extra food for their program. So they're double dipping and then drugging people, and then she's going outside and smoking the shit and then trying to run an NA program.
Well, this guy Jeremy's trying to do a similar thing. He's trying to talk like he's doing nice, and he's got his head nice and cleanly cut. He's wearing a nice shirt, and he goes out and looks the part. But the thing is, he's coming back into town. He's looking for drugs, and that Nadia lady bullied me the whole time I was out there. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah, well, and it's not necessary.
It's community blackballing. They know exactly what they're doing.
They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They are trying to double dip on the assistance from the state by forcing people to, and if you're not already an addict, they will spike your food. They will spike your food. Do you like my feet wet? I do. They look beautiful. They don't
Claire, this is not me trying to be rude. I am literally going to pee myself if I don't go now.
Okay, go.
All right.
Go and then call me back, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'll call you back shortly. Bye.
Okay, bye.
I'm going to pee. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You see how quickly it devolves into story trading, conversation, and gossip. At least I got to go to the bathroom. 31% battery isn't going to last me long. And see, here's the thing. I don't have the battery to keep having conversations. And I do have to keep on stopping to listen to what Claire's saying, because if I don't, she's going to get louder, talk faster, or get frustrated. She wants something to be done about her stuff, and we can do stuff to help her, but not if we're literally not going to do anything to help me until she gets all of her stuff. Because that's literally never going to happen. If you're not going to help someone stop abuse until your life is perfect, you don't care about that person, because your life will never be perfect. Tomorrow I'm going to have to break down the conversations as well as the understanding of why it is that I literally can't do this. When somebody's just going to literally every single time, she's going to go off on story time. Focus on me instead of, all right, let's look at it like this. Let's say somebody was raped, because that's the only crime that you care about. Somebody was raped. Let's say Sean was raped, right? Now let's say Sean was raped out at Helping Hands. Now let's say you had an experience out at Helping Hands that was not so pleasant. Well, good. That means you might have some understanding of the fact that I'm telling the truth. Now, let's fast forward. I need help turning in that rape. So I come to you for help turning in the rape, and you talk about how nothing is going to work, and you talk about how horrible it is, and all the gossip about town, and you tell me it's not going to work because of this, and it's not going to work because of that. You've literally not tried. And she thinks it's just sexist against women here. No. When it comes to the services, there are a lot of services here for women. She was denied access to most of those because she was homeless, not because she was a woman. This little girl, you need to go back to your husband bullshit. Yeah, that's definitely this community. You are expected to go get hitched up with one of those retarded farm boys who hates black people and, of course, has access to firearms. But the problem is that if I was raped and you say that you're going to help me to turn in that rape, and every time it devolves into a conversation about your story and you and things that you haven't gotten over, when it devolves into a conversation instead of hearing the victim's story, or even worse, what does Claire Jordan do? Literally everything I say incites a story she wants to tell, and who's she going to tell it to? These are things that do need to be turned in. But we also need to establish that there is an appropriate time for it to be Claire time and an appropriate time for it to be Sean time. If helping Sean isn't helping Sean, it's you talking about you, it's wasting my battery. It's wasting time that I could be trying to find somebody who actually cares. Do I actually care about Claire? Well, fuck yes. Because unlike that Jeremy dickhead, she actually gives a shit about her kids. Unlike him, she's not out here getting fucked up on drugs. Now she literally devolved it into a conversation. And for me, I have to just stop and listen at that point. It's exhausting, it's overwhelming, it's disheartening, it's not humorous. And when she talks about these people in this town getting off on it, thinking that it's funny, it's hilarious. Well, yeah, they're very much like that. Somebody sees you being assaulted and you say, hey, could you go to the cops with me? Just give it to God. The stuff that happened with her earlier today and with me today with my computer. Yeah, that's going to happen. Things like that are going to happen. However, there is supposed to be something done to protect people like me, people like her children from exactly this kind of abuse.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. Is not available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
All right. Library's open for 2 more hours, but if I don't go out and panhandle, I don't get to eat. So I gotta go. Hey, Claire.
Okay, I bumped the wrong button. Sorry.
That's all right. I don't have the ability to eat, so I have to go out and panhandle to try to get some dinner.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cleaned out after helping people, and yeah. So
Yes, ma'am.
I wish I could send you something, but I can't today.
It's not your money that's important; it's your words. Also, the evidence that you've gotten to see is pretty important too. Anyway, I'm really hungry. I'm really thirsty, and I'm just like you. I spent all day waiting on the computer to work.
Yeah, I spent hours, and it still got a little spinning wheel, and I haven't been able to do any work today. So.
Well, if you could call with me and help leave some messages on answering machines this weekend at some point,
I can.
that would totally rock.
I have time for that.
I was gonna try to send you the recording of the conversation we had yesterday because I think if you listen to it, it would make a lot more sense. Other than that, like it's different recognizing it from the outside looking in as opposed to when you're in the middle of the conversation. Because like a lot of times when I listen to my recordings, which I don't want to when I'm an asshole, I realize that there's stuff that I got wrong or stuff that I talked over that I probably shouldn't have. And I also understand that like at that time, the reason that I talked over something that I probably shouldn't have is because that person had literally ignored me for, several years and then finally called me and then wanted to make everything about them. So for a lot of people, they don't intend to be that way. It's just that that's the trauma that we're in. That's also the circumstances we understand from.
Yeah. If you want to send it to me, then cool. If you can't, then that's okay too.
Anything, I'm completely transparent with everything. The only stuff that I don't post up is stuff that I get all of my evidence destroyed, or stuff that I literally don't have the time for. Like, these people know that I'm disabled, they know I'm autistic. Matter of fact, I can send you a recording with the lady from the Disability Determination Office too, that also shows very much that yes, she even verifies that I'm not schizophrenic. I am disabled. I got autism and PTSD, but the problem is they wouldn't allow any of that in court.
Yeah, same with me. So, I've been told that I could be on disability assistance for PTSD, trauma, and autism, and I still have to fight for it. So,
Once you do, they own you, though. That's the thing with me, is that before I screwed up my back, like, I was able to hide the fact that I was autistic from most people. I was able to hide my PTSD from most people because I had a somewhat of a support network. As soon as I hurt my back, that support network disappeared and the abuse was gone. And that's where I've been ever since 2015. Anyway, it's 3:56. If I don't get out there and start panhandling now, I'm not going to be able to get some food, and that's pretty important. As far as sending me money for food, that's not important. I'll make sure that I get food. Also, I just assume.
I wish I could send you money for food. I would if I could, but I can't.
That's right. I got to try to come up with money to pay my phone bill too, this is all stuff that the state is supposed to take care of, and they're not.
Yeah, food, phone bills. Yeah, they brag about how they take care of that.
Well, they're supposed to take care of the abuse too, and obviously they're too busy covering up for the wrongdoing of others. So when I try to call up and tell people about the details of the specific crimes that I'm enduring, that tends to be when people the most want to do the story time thing, or they want to get short with me and tell me how short on time they are, like 10 or 15 times in a row. And that's really a scary thing because the details are important. The times and the days are all recorded on my YouTube and on my Facebook and in a lot of other places. But the thing is, without somebody listening to understand what the situation is with those, they're not going to know any better when the police try to sell a false narrative. But I did try calling the cops last night. I did call 911. Officer Neubauer was the one who called back. He called back to be a dickhead and talk over me, same as always. Because of the stuff being broken out in my windows, I have to put up blankets while I'm in there so that when they try to break my windows, it hopefully won't shatter into my eyeballs. Anyway, I'm gonna hang up on you now, and I apologize for that. I'm getting really hungry.
No, it's okay. Go get food, and I need a nap after like a huge long day of trying to make things work and getting nowhere. So yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm sorry we weren't able to make this into something useful and workable today.
That's okay, but we were there for each other, and that's what's important.
I got to hear a human being's voice that isn't being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, be safe, Claire.
You too. Go get some food, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'll probably text you in a couple hours so that you know I'm not dead.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.
The other thing is, it's emotionally exhausting to go through this. It's tiring. It's depressing. Like I said, she's not evil.